Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And what a win for our New York Knicks, as the New York Knicks just came out victorious up against the Denver Nuggets at home at Madison Square Garden. The Denver Nuggets are the #1 seed in the Western Conference. A lot of people think of them as finals contenders. They definitely have struggled lately when it's been coming to closing out games and also on the defense side of the basketball, allowing dribble penetration. But they do have the two-time MVP of Nikola Jokic over there. And when Jamal Murray's healthy, he's one of the most prolific scorers. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope does the little things out there on the floor, plays really hard defense. You have Bruce Brown coming off the bench. Michael Porter Jr. is that X factor. What Michael Porter Jr. are you going to get every night? But at the end of the day, the Denver Nuggets have talent. They have struggled as of late, but this was going to be a tough game regardless. Despite them struggling lately, it's just like you never know, especially when it comes to history, going up against the Denver Nuggets, because I believe this is our first time sweeping the Denver Nuggets since 2005. Like, it's been a very long time. When we beat them at the Ball Arena this season, the last time we beat them, it was the Pepsi Center, and it was a very long time ago. So we've struggled historically up against the Denver Nuggets, and this looks like a totally different New York Knicks team. We win 116 to 110. We are 12 games over 500. We are 42-20 on the season. We remain as that fifth seed. And when you just take a look at this game, the adversity the New York Knicks went through, like, yes, we were up 13 points, but then we blow that lead. Then we're down 13 points. We have to overcome that in the second half. That is something the New York Knicks probably wouldn't have been able to overcome in the past. Like, we're figuring out how to win games. We're able to overcome adversity. And I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to this basketball club. You need to figure out how to win games. And the New York Knicks figured out a way to win this game. And it was an overall team contribution. It wasn't just Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle going off. And that was definitely one of the key X factors of this game. That was definitely one of the main storylines. How is Jalen Brunson going to be physically, mentally out there on the floor coming back from this foot injury? And obviously, he got off to a fantastic start. He was one of the main reasons we're up double digits. He was pretty much the majority of our offense, but we were playing defense as well, as he had 16 points in that first quarter, knocked down a three, first possession of the game after a missed one. RJ Barrett offensive rebound, gave it back to Brunson, little shovel pass, knocked it down. You know, the up and under, the footwork, the manipulation with his feet, because you don't know if he's going to that fadeaway. You don't know if he's going to that mid-range. He's going to lay it up and in, but he finished really well off the basket. He had 2 and 1s. He was just overall freaking awesome to watch. Jalen Brunson, yes, we've seen this all season long. He's been Mr. Consistent for us, but he's just so good. And when we signed him, I'm like, this dude's a solid player, but we never got to see his fullback on a consistent basis. We saw it playoff time, but we didn't see this big time sample size. So seeing him do it on a consistent basis is just so much fun to watch, and it's resulting in winning basketball. That's the most important thing. You know, you have Grimes playing good defense. He knocked down a three, found RJ Barrett for a bucket inside. Josh Hart comes off the bench. He's really competing defensively. He's clogging up the lanes. He's making nice reads. One read I absolutely loved is when he got into the paint. He was able to find RJ Barrett in the interior, lay it up and in. But the overall thing in the back of my head, yeah, Randall knocked down a three in the corner. I was like, is this offense really going to keep up, though? When Brunson checks out the game, I'm really interested to see how the offensive flow is going to be. Is everyone else in a consistent rhythm? Yes, Brunson is this amazing isolation scoring, but how is it going to be for everyone else when it comes to that second quarter? So obviously we're in control of the game. We're up double digits. I like the rotating on defense. Jokic isn't really in a rhythm. Jamal Murray scoring the basketball. Michael Porter Jr. knocked down 3, but outside of that, there wasn't really any overall flow offensively for the Denver Nuggets. And you have to give credit to the New York Knicks defensively, obviously. But so we're up double digits second quarter. Second unit checks in. The second unit, I thought, got off to a pretty good start. Like, I liked Hartenstein flashing the middle. Hartenstein, by the way, sorry, I hit the mic there. Hartenstein was freaking fantastic. Rebounded very well. I believe he had 9 rebounds in this game. Defensive rebounds, one of the most important things. I love offensive rebounds, but you have to make sure you secure those defensive rebounds so you don't miss out on offensive possessions for your basketball club on the other end. You need to get these stops defensively. And Hartenstein, his defense has definitely been off the charts lately. He's been way better defending that pick and roll. And I believe it starts with that Lakers game, the way he was able to contain Anthony Davis down the stretch. So his pick and roll defense, you know, he had a very nice block in the interior on Jeff Green. He's 36 years old, but he had a crazy dunk on Emmanuel quickly later on in the game. So for 36 years old, playing since the Supersonics were a team, he's still an athletic player and still a quality player in this league. So credit to Jeff Green. But I loved his interior defense, and he made a very nice pass in that fourth quarter as well. So I thought Hartenstein absolutely played his ass off, but Hartenstein had the ball when it came to the interior, flash in the middle, kick to the heart, extra pass to Obi Toppin, knocked down the three. You know, we have some rhythm going offensively. You know, we're pushing the pace. We did get fast break points in this game, but what I really thought allowed the Denver Nuggets to get back in this game was we were late on rotations. And I thought that was pretty unacceptable, the way we're leaving guys open for three. I thought Randall was really late on a rotation for Michael Porter Jr. We've kind of seen that as of late. Randall needs to be better when it comes to these rotations. Jamal Murray was just hanging up from three. Jokic was able to get some buckets as well. We're sloppy. We're turning the ball over. I thought the offense was extremely stagnant. And I didn't like that we weren't really attacking the basket. And you could say that for the beginning of the third quarter as well, because we weren't down 13 in that second quarter, but the Denver Nuggets were able to get this lead because of the threes knocked down outside of the perimeter by Jamal Murray and just the overall inconsistency of the offense side of the basketball. We needed more of a scoring punch. Outside of Obi knocking down that three, we didn't get much from him. Quickly wasn't in a rhythm early on. Eventually he was. Credit to a man who quickly overcoming adversity, but quickly wasn't in a rhythm during that time. We weren't really feeding RJ during that time. Brunson, when he did come back in the game, he was struggling. Randall wasn't in any type of rhythm. So I'm like, we're kind of screwed here, but it could have gone a lot worse in the second quarter if Michael Porter Jr. was in a rhythm, but we didn't allow him to get into a rhythm. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's a really good defensive player, but he didn't score much in this game. But Bruce Brown, I got to give credit to him. He played some tough-ass defense, and he kind of reminds me of Josh Hart, scrappy defensive player, good passer, good cutter. So I do like what both those guys bring to the table, but I'm glad that those overall guys didn't get into an overall rhythm in the second quarter, or maybe it could have gone a little worse. But just every bucket was so pivotal because, yes, the final score was 116 to 110, but there were stretches in this game that both these teams weren't consistent on offense, and every bucket mattered. Obviously, every bucket means something in the NBA, but in this game, especially when it came to the fourth quarter, it was a Bruce Brown, Josh Hart kind of battle when it came to defensive stops, leading to buckets in transition. But Randall did make this a closer game when he made it a 6-point game. Brunson's not as efficient. Randall struggling from the outside. The three ball had to straight up be better. But credit to Randall. Hit that push shot over Aaron Gordon. Very difficult and one over Aaron Gordon to close out the half. So it was a 6-point game. But it was just Brunson came out. I thought he was pressing. I thought he was doing a little too much on offense. The first few minutes I just thought weren't really good. Those mistakes I was just talking about continued. And I remember we did allow a second chance opportunity. I felt like we didn't allow a crazy amount of second chance opportunities, but I remember there being a very pivotal one that they're able to put it up and in, and there was a questionable call by the ref when they called a foul, but after those first few minutes, we're down 13 points. I loved how we just flipped a switch like that on defense because it got really ugly. Don't get me wrong, the offense still wasn't producing at a very high level, but the defense ignited the offense, and RJ Barrett really flipped the switch for this offense. I'm like, Brunson went off in the first quarter, but Brunson just coming back from an injury. They're still processing at a totally different level when you're coming back from an injury in the NBA, the physicality and all that. Getting back in the NBA, into NBA shape. I'm not saying he's in shape, but the speed of the game's insane. Randall's not stepping up at a very high level. Josh Hart's a fantastic defensive player, good passer. Did get some big buckets in this game, but during this time, I'm like, can we really count on him for offense? So you have RJ Barrett, who's just a man possessed in the third quarter. One of the main reasons we come back. He's been struggling from three lately, but he's been very efficient finishing at the basket. He drives physical to the basket, very strong. He's drawing fouls. He's finishing in the interior. He was 8 for 10 from the field when it came to 2-point range. So you love that. You love that he's finishing at the basket. If his three ball's not falling, attack the basket. And that's what we got from RJ. And what I loved as well is the improvement of RJ defensively. When it came to at least the first 40, 50 games of the season, RJ Barrett really struggled on the defensive side of the basketball when it came to his footwork, late on rotations, miscommunications, knowing when to go under and over screens, just a screen navigation. He's gotten better, especially when it's come to these last maybe 8 games. Defensively, he's been playing really hard. He's been playing really physical, and you got to give credit to RJ Barrett. He was just a man possessed. His footwork, the unpredictability, the patience is at a whole other level. That's what I love down the stretch. He gave us some buckets down the stretch, especially that one when Jokic knocked the ball out of his hands, but in mid-air, he was able to finish. So that's what I loved. RJ Barrett got clutch buckets, but he gave us pivotal buckets to bring us back into this game in that third quarter. I just love the unpredictability. I love the physicality. I love the footwork. That's what I love from RJ Barrett, but the defense led to buckets in transition as well, led to 3 balls to bring us back in this game. Because it was scary when the Nuggets were going on this run at the beginning of the third quarter. I mentioned Murray cooking, but then Jokic started cooking. Bruce Brown started to do his thing. Christian Braun comes off the bench. He's playing pretty good defense. Jeff Green's producing pretty solid, but Michael Porter Jr., he would hit a three, he would hit threes, but not on a consistent basis. That was the big thing with Michael Porter Jr. I was like, the first team to really have their guys first team to have a collective effort offensively is going to help win this game, because I felt like both these teams are really trying defensively. The Nuggets definitely did adjust. You have to give credit to them. But I felt the Knicks were the first team to really flip the switch when it came to overall offensive consistency of a group. Because Isaiah Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson, Randall, Josh Hart, they are all amazing when they were out there on the floor. when Jokic would drive in the interior, we'd strip the ball off Jokic. We'd force big-time turnovers, which would lead to buckets in transition. Quickly hit a huge three in transition. Grimes hit a huge three in transition. Josh Hart hit a huge three. I believe Grimes hit like 2 huge threes. And I remember the Garden erupting when quickly hit that one to really make it a closer game. It was a gritty defensive battle. And maybe Randall wasn't the most efficient from 3 or anything like that. But this team scrapped throughout that entire quarter and ended up tying the game. In the fourth quarter, I thought that was the Knicks quarter. They won. Maybe the final score 116-110 is very close, but if you truly watch this game, the New York Knicks mopped the floor with the Denver Nuggets in that fourth quarter. We set the tone right away. RJ Barrett drives to the basket, draws foul. Splits a pair, sure. We get a stop defensively. Hartenstein makes an amazing read. This is what I loved about him coming from the Clippers. He's in the middle of the floor. He might have been at the top of the key, recognizes Josh Hart's cutting, finds a back door. He's able to finish. I remember Josh Hart had some excellent drives in this game. Like I mentioned, the 3-ball. This dude had a damn near triple-double. Remember, he had a damn near triple-double last game. Obviously, we haven't played in a good amount of time. But he had 8 rebounds. He had 5 assists. He was making solid reads. Like, you need that guy that gets in the head of opposing players. Like, I get mad when Randall gets messed with mentally because I'm like, you can't let players get in your head. Like, you got to be mentally tough. But I'm also thinking, like, we need a Marcus Smart. We need a Patrick Beverley. Yes, those players are hated on in this league, but they get in the heads of opposing players. And I feel like Josh Hart's that guy. He made Jokic frustrated when he would force these turnovers on a Nikola Jokic. Mitchell Robinson, I thought, just took his game to the next level defensively in the second half. The defense was just so amazing. And it was awesome to see, like, this wasn't an offensive battle in the fourth quarter. Bruce Brown was attacking defensively, like, getting after defensively Josh Hart. Like, every bucket really mattered. It was just so pivotal. There was little room for error in that fourth quarter. And Mitchell Robinson as well. He had 3 assists. I remember him having a really nice pass, and he had 9 rebounds, but 8 of them are offensive rebounds. Jokic is very smart, but you got to kill him athletically. Mitchell Robinson is way more athletic than Jokic. Jokic is a better player. He's smarter. He's a better scorer, better passer, better rebounder. Obviously, he's better defensively, and I love that we started to attack him. More credit to RJ Barrett there. But you need to get these second chance opportunities against Jokic, and he got those. Yeah, again, he had like 8 rebounds, but like 6 of them were offensive rebounds. Hartenstein was killing it on the glass. You got to overall give credit to this group when it came to rebounding the ball, but when it came to those pivotal buckets, got to give credit. Brunson comes in the game, has a very difficult shot off balance. He did kind of force some things in the fourth quarter at the beginning, which kind of did frustrate me, but it was awesome to see everyone get timely shots. Like I mentioned, Josh Hart, timely shot to get us back in the game quickly. Grimes, RJ Barrett, like I mentioned, that really tough shot over Jokic to lay it up and in. We had the lead majority of that fourth quarter, except when we left Michael Porter Jr. open for 3. I believe Jeff Green knocked down a 3 as well, but we were just able to fight back from that. Because after Michael Porter Jr. knocked down that 3, they were up 1. RJ drove down the lane, had that big bucket. He had a couple huge buckets driving down the lane. Randall had a very nice finish at the basket. Randall had a very nice follow away. I'm like, that might not be the best shot. It went in. Randall had a turnover that definitely did scare me. But what I really thought flipped the game here is when we're up 2 here. We have the ball offensively. Brunson draws a big-time foul on Jamal Murray, gets him up in the air, nails both free throws, knocks him down. But the Denver Nuggets had a miscue basketball IQ-wise is because we were up 4 points, Jokic on the other end. Jamal Murray feeds Jokic. Jokic had a pretty good look. He had the up fake, got Mitchell Robinson up in the air, just missed the 3. And when Brunson knocked down those free throws, there was 43 seconds left. Denver Nuggets had the basketball, didn't execute. So there's like 20-something seconds left, I believe, when we have the ball. The Nuggets just allowed us to just race down the floor, allowed Brunson to just race down the floor, throw up a lob to Mitchell Robinson. We're up 6. And that pretty much sealed it from there. We're up 6. And I believe there's less than 20 seconds left then during that moment. And when the Nuggets didn't execute, they allowed us to just run out the clock. So I thought they hurt themselves, but the Knicks were just tremendous defensively. RJ big buckets, just like we need that from RJ. Obviously, you want to see the 3-ball fall, but if RJ could just read the floor, make the basic reads, and Randall big-time buckets, and he was pretty inconsistent throughout this game, but they stepped up when it mattered. That's all that matters. Let me know down below your thoughts on this team. Josh Hart, so scrappy defensively, the rebounds, the points. Like, this dude's fucking amazing. I love this team. Again, let me know down below your thoughts. Peace out, y'all.